There, this is William Nico, and I have something on my mind. Everybody says the abs are made in the kitchen, but if you look at somebody who is strong and you look at, just consider anything you do in daily life, whether it's bending down, walking, or even just getting up in the morning, you have to contract your abdominals. That's not an act of eating. It has nothing to do with food. It has something to do with a function, abdominal contraction. Yet, you get all these people saying, you know, it's all about your diet. Diet is very important, of course. You could be much more efficient at contracting your abdominals if you have less, not only visceral fat, but subcutaneous fat. It does affect the contraction of the abdominals, but it does not make it stronger. Okay, it makes the abdominals being able to contract with anything getting in the way, anything impeding it. But the abdominals, like any other muscle, respond to demand. Getting up in the morning, you have to lift your own body weight. If your abdominals are only strong enough to for you to stand up, then ultimately, you're going to get tired the more you stand up throughout the day. Therefore, it's just very important and advantageous that your abdominals are much stronger, much, much stronger than it takes to simply stand up. You need really need a tremendous reserve of abdominal strength, because you never know what you'll be called upon to do. Yes, I know you could be an executive. You're sitting down all day, or you really don't have any demands, and you don't foresee yourself having to undergo a very hard physical task. But this is life. Life throws at you all kinds of challenges at any time. Let's say you had to lift something heavy. All of a sudden, hey, you had a supply that you had to move from your car, and you had no other means. Now you have to lift that box and carry it to your house, maybe 100 feet, maybe more. You need strong abdominals to do that in order to support your back, now you're staying upright. Not only staying upright with your holding your own body weight, but now you're staying upright. You're required to stay upright, holding an extra 50 pounds. That requires much stronger abdominals, and that requires training your abdominals to be able to undergo that task. So anyone who tells you that abdominals made in the kitchen, that's only like one, small part of the story. And so, how do you train your abdominals? Your abdominals are made to hold and support your spine. Hold your spine in position while you perform movements in 3 different planes of motion. Forward, backward, which is called sagittal, side to side, which is called the frontal plane, and transverse, which is rotational. Basically, your spine must stay in the center. In the center, what I mean is vertical, not lean one way or the other, while you're twisting, rotating, bending forward, or bending side to side. Or I should say moving side to side. So, even bending side to side, because you're bending, but your spine must have all the disc and all the vertebrae stacked on top of each other. So when I refer to as the spine being vertical, I'm referring to the disc and the vertebrae being aligned one on top of each other as you move, whether you move side to side, front or back, or in a circle, rotational. let alone, undergoing resistance. If you were running and a strong wind approached you from the side, now all your core muscles, not just abdominals, your core muscles have to contract very powerfully to resist that push of the wind, that strong resistance of the wind. So now we're getting to what type of abdominal training. You see a lot of people say that stability is important, that strength is more important. Many people from the strength arena, particularly powerlifters, will say, well, just do the 3 big lifts, squats, bench, and deadlifts. But that's, when you think about it, it's really not looking into it, and it's not considering, the anatomy of your core, because your core and your abdominals are typically thought of an external, superficial thing, but it's not. Abdominals are from the inside. They attach to many different special tissues, and one of those special tissues is the erector spinae muscles. Yes, aka known as the lower back. Though the erector spinae muscles extend from the lower back all the way to the upper back. Yes. So your erector spinae muscles in the entire back. Your entire back consists of the erector spinae muscles, but the only thing is they're attached to your transverse, and they help determine whether you can stabilize your spine. And they intrinsically linked with this breathing, with your diaphragm, the function of your diaphragm. The function of your diaphragm is powered by the contraction of your abdominals. Why do you think nature made it that way? When you required to cough, sneeze, to breathe hard, try to fill up a hot air balloon, exhale, you notice that your abdominals contract powerfully. It's not by accident. So you must have constantly train your abdominals and perform abdominal training in a way that integrates and synchronizes your breathing with the muscle contraction. Breathing is such a very important part of abdominal training and abdominal contraction. And it's not just going to, people say it's going to come naturally. It doesn't come naturally. You have to practice it. Let's do an experiment. You're listening to me, and hopefully you are. Let's just say you can try right now breathing, inhaling, sucking in your abs, exhaling, contracting. Do that for a minute and time it each. Try to do in a cadence of 2 seconds apart. It should take you 1 second to inhale. Well, actually, no. 4 seconds to inhale and hold the contraction 4 seconds. Do that for 60 seconds and you let me know if it's not difficult. As if that is only 1 minute. But your abdominals are required to support you 24/7. So if you cannot integrate your breathing with your abdominal contraction, you're basically not supporting your spine throughout the day. If you cannot do that for 1 minute, how are you supposed to do it if you're carrying something for longer than a minute, or even working in a hard labor job? Your abdominals have to be strong. You have to be able to synchronize your abdominal contraction with your breathing. Another thing is, when you synchronize your breathing with your abdominal contraction, you're contracting at an even pace, which doesn't allow the abdominals to fatigue prematurely. So these are all different approaches to understand how to prepare your abdominals. But I haven't specifically gone into the training, but that's a topic and a subject of another video. natural fitness lifestyle.